Thanks. Yeah, first of all, thanks for joining. So my name's Amelia Slade, and I'm the head of engineering at GameBench. Most of the time I spend working on the web dashboard side of our tooling rather than the collector tools themselves. And recently we've shipped some pretty major new features in V3, which should make detecting performance issues easier within the web dashboard, and also make the investigation easier and alerting as well. Oh yeah, just seen someone in the chat. Hello there. So this session is basically planned to be about half an hour. Maybe it'll be a little bit less. Short and sweet is the idea. So we'll start with how we've, the traditional way of looking for performance issues, which is you're presented with a list of sessions. Potentially there'll be hundreds, if not thousands. Certainly customers that use the injector or the SDK, they can have a massive number of sessions. So we'll start with the sessions list. It's more of a manual job then to kind of go through that list of sessions and see, okay, which device is having an issue, but also if it's having an issue for this particular session, a device is showing a particular issue. Maybe we'll take the one of the core performance metrics, which is FPS, and we'll say the FPS perhaps it had dropped below 28, which is a kind of common sort of at least base level FPS for mobile games. And if it's we'll look for sessions that drop below that, but obviously it doesn't really tell us much in terms of the story. Is it bad just for this one session? Maybe it's not always bad. Maybe the FPS is stable on this device and it's just an outlier. So really what we're looking to do is to go from more of the sort of previous approach that we had, where you had to kind of look at the sessions yourself and give you some tools within the web dashboard right on the homepage that will allow you to automatically analyze the session data, compare it build on build, and then if there's a particular app you're interested in, you can create what we call lenses, a lens for that, which will let you be notified of these issues. But we'll get onto that more. So really, that covers the agenda. It's about looking at the before, then looking at our new issue detection functionality, then looking at the new Trends Explorer and alerting, and then finally just looking at the metrics timeline, which is per session focus again, but it's a more powerful tool for looking at the individual session data. So before we get started, I'm just very curious to know who has used V3 of the web dashboard already. If you could just drop something in chat to say whether you've used it before, if you're currently using, or if you're still on V2. Just curious to get an idea of who's using what. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on the chat for that. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, feel free to respond to that in your own time. But yeah, just very curious to see. The other thing is, please feel free to drop any questions into the chat, any comments. You can also use the Q&A functionality as well, and we'll respond to your questions as you have them. Okay. So, as I touched on before, what the problem we're trying to solve is really around detecting issues. Yes, as it stands with the session list, it can be difficult to see what is actually going on. The onus is really on you to go through the sessions and see if the numbers are correct or not. The FPS is the FPS metrics, memory usage is okay. Maybe perhaps look at the individual sessions themselves. If you're recording a large volume of sessions, this is actually fairly onerous. I know a lot of our customers do use the API, for example, or they consume the CSV data of a session and analyze it that way. But like I said, what we're keen on doing now is to really put those tools into the web dashboard right on the home page, so you can detect issues without having to manually sift through it yourselves. So yeah, it's a unified view of the metrics. It means that as it stands, you're basically you'll be testing and then potentially discovering issues after a user's complained about it, and then finally, what's really important is to look at these metrics as you will all be aware across builds, because obviously you'll fix performance issues, but also you'll want to know whether the latest build has caused an issue, caused a regression. So really, that's what it's all about, is just moving the kind of issue detection to the dashboard. So this is kind of what I was referring to in terms of the session list. We've made quite a few improvements to it, but it's still very difficult to see the wood from the trees, especially if you have a lot of sessions. With the new session list, it's possible to sort by the median FPS. It's possible to filter by the app version. So you can kind of piece together some idea of the performance. But yeah, we want to, in V3, we provided the tools for you to be able to do that without having to sift through the sessions. So I'm just going to switch to demoing the actual product itself. So this is the V3 session list as it stands. Like I say, it's useful in terms of finding the lowest FPS, finding the highest FPS, look at memory usage, and as I mentioned, you can filter by app version. So we could, if I search for Sky Clash in here, and then say search for 3.1. So as you expect, all the filters, let you narrow down your selections. Sorry, just take a sip of water here. And with the session list, We've got customizable columns as well to show you different pieces of information. But essentially, whilst it's useful in some cases, it doesn't really allow you to easily answer the question of whether you've got a regression. So, just switch back to my slides. What we did was we kind of turned everything up on its head. We wanted something that was zero configuration. That would just let you click detect issues, let you discover issues that we found, and then go and investigate them, and then potentially create alerts for them. So this is as you can see on the slide, this is the new issue detection dashboard. This is automatically sort of like procedurally generated data, but yeah, it gives you a flavor of what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to the dashboard again. I click on dashboard. Now, because I have been testing and obviously preparing for the webinar, these issues have already been detected. I've already pressed the button, but I will press it again anyway. So yeah, I pressed the issue detection button, and as you can see, we've got 4 issues. 3 of them are warnings, 2 for device-specific regressions. We've also got a memory increase, and then we've also got a critical FPS regression across the whole version in version 3.2. One of the other kind of key parts of this is that we wanted the methodology to be completely transparent. So that includes the kind of how we came to that conclusion, but also it will give you a sample of the data too. So I can click on the show methodology for any of these issues that have been detected and get more information about how we came to that conclusion. So if I take, I think let's look at the FPS regression specifically. So we had our version 3.1 where the median FPS was 49. The important thing also to know is that we do consider frame rate of devices. So we'll group devices based on their refresh rate of the actual screen. Obviously, that has an impact on what FPS you can expect from that device. So, yes, got the issues here have been detected across a few builds, specific issues with devices, and also an overall FPS regression. I'll switch back to my slides. So these issues that we've detected are obviously useful, but you want to have a bit more information about what exactly has happened and to try and get an understanding of the data, perhaps draw some conclusions and understand what to work on, what to fix in terms of your performance for your app or mobile game. So that's where the Trends Explorer comes into play. So what I'll do is I'll just switch back to my demo and I will investigate one of these issues. So this is the FPS regression in 3.2. As you can see, we when we were sort of building the kind of previous iterations of this, we were never quite satisfied in how we actually visualized and displayed the data to our users. So with that in mind, we again, that was something that we focused on from the outset, really. How should this data be displayed? What's the kind of most useful way? So with that said, we went for box plots for the FPS median distribution. And really the idea behind box plots, why they're useful if you haven't come across them before, is that they show you the ranges of performance. In the best case, you want your FPS within a certain range for your devices. And the bigger the range, obviously, the more variability, which might be fine if you have a mixture of devices, but you want it to be consistent across versions. The memory distribution is, we have a similar view on that, where the range is quite significant. So we include that in the chart. And as one of the kind of key performance metrics, in addition to FPS, we also talk about, visualize big janks. So that's major stutters in the game, which would be noticeable to a user. Each of the charts has a kind of how to read bits about it. So just some more information about what the chart is saying, and then each of these can also, if there could be, for example, a metric that you're not particularly interested in, perhaps you're not interested in memory peak for this one, you can disable the metric as well. And then that takes me on to the actual device performance itself. I think this is one of the most sort of powerful pieces of the visualization, of the tooling. Again, we've got the show methodology, which will talk about how we calculate the peer averages and the grouping by refresh rate tier. So we've got all that in there, but it really lets you drill down to the behavior of each device and see whether particular devices had issues. So there's an overall FPS regression, but then there's also an FPS regression, a more significant one, for the Xiaomi Redmi 12 and the Galaxy A15. What you can then do is you can open up a panel which gives you a bit more information about that specific device, the sessions that have been run on it, so you've got the list of the sessions, and then each of those links off to the session itself, but it also will show you, for that device, the median FPS, if that's the metric that you're interested in. This side panel will change depending on which metric is selected. I'll show you the memory one in a second. What can be very useful if there's a specific device regression is just to drill down to that one device from the Trends Explorer to see how the performance has changed. So I just close that and switch to memory. So the Redmi 12 also, in this example, has a higher usage of memory. The peak memory usage is higher. Again, as I mentioned, the side panel does reflect the metric that you're interested in from the drop down. And I'll show you the peak memory values and the difference from previous version to current. So that kind of, in a very brief way, covers the Trends Explorer. So I'm just going to switch back to my slides. And as I mentioned, we've got I mentioned the device level detail. So again, that's all part of the Trends Explorer. So all this stuff is useful. At the moment, we've talked about being able to automatically detect issues from the dashboard. Just press a button and it'll analyze what's been going on. If you want to be alerted for any issues that do arise automatically, then we have that functionality too. So switch back to my demo. At the moment, I'm just investigating this FPS regression issue. If I want to perhaps add some filters and persist those filters, then I would save it as a lens. So I'm just going to quickly do that now. I'll call it webinar test lens. It's very imaginative. Now this is saved as a lens. Any changes you make in terms of the name of the lens or filters or your quality targets will be persisted for that lens. Lenses are presented at the bottom of the dash, and you can choose certain lenses to star, for example. So the lens that I just created, I'll go back into that now. I can choose to add notification channels, and that's how I add the alert detection in. At the moment, we support Slack, email, and webhooks for the notifications. I can just use webhooks for now. And see if I've still got the example. So I've added the webhook notification channel. Those are managed within the collection itself. I'll show that in a second, actually. I can press test detection. Let's find the same 4 issues that we'd already detected. And then if I just switch to, this is just a simple webhook interface. We have the details about the issues that were detected, the collection, various links, app name, that sort of thing. So if you do have a separate system that we don't have an integration for, you can always add it via webhooks. Of course, if there was a way you'd like to, a separate system you'd like us to integrate, we can also look into that for you, no problem. Okay, so I'll switch back to the issue detection Trends Explorer. So inside the collection itself, we have notification channels, and in there you can configure the different ones depending on your needs. All right, so I'll just go back to the dashboard a minute. So I think, yeah, so just kind of summing up on that. We've got the issue detection from detect issues on the dashboard, which you can press and kind of see at a glance what's going on. If you want to be notified subsequently for a specific app, then that's when you would go into Trends Explorer, set up your various filters, and then add the issue detection alert, and then that's it. And then any new sessions that come in will evaluate those and let you know if the issues have been resolved, or if they're still, they're still present, or a new build has been released with a different issue. I should have mentioned actually that we will reopen issues that if it's fixed and then reappears, the issue will be reopened from the dashboard for you to investigate. So you can dismiss these, but yeah, if they come up again, then we'll notify you. So finally, I mentioned from the outset that we have a different way of looking at sessions now. So, or we have another way of looking at sessions, I should say. The key thing about the new metrics timeline, I guess there are quite a few important things to mention about it. Firstly, you do get the timeline view, which is a much easier way to visualize regions, which we've got a mixture of terminology still within the web dashboard, but regions are basically markers, but so they behave in the same way. But regions are very powerful because a typical session is usually consists of, say, you've got some menus, you've got some gameplay, perhaps you've got some sort of interstitial, you've got an ad, and not all of that is equal in terms of performance or what you're interested in. So regions are, as I say, the same as markers, but they just allow you to specify a specific piece of the session that you're interested in and look at the stats just for that. But it's much more powerful now with the timeline. So if I just go into one of the sessions, let's pick, we'll pick this. We'll pick one of the low FPS sessions. Okay, so you can forgive the screenshots. They're procedurally generated, but they're just to show something rather than anything else. So yeah, from the metrics timeline, it's not too dissimilar from the all metrics page, but we let you add the charts that you're interested in to this, and we also have the kind of picture-in-picture. I think this might be obscured by my video, but the screenshots now stay with you wherever you are on the page, which makes it easier to see what's going on. So for example, I can add a region, see the specific details about that region. Regions can have groups, same as marker groups. So you can analyze multiple sets of gameplay in a session, for example. So I just wanted to mention the metrics timeline view because it is that much more powerful. So we've got the standard sort of metric charts that you would expect to see in terms of like frame time and everything, and big janks. But we also have a special frame time chart which shows the I might have to consult the how to read for this, but yes, it's really showing the frame times across the session, if they have high variance or if they're in the they've got a sort of poor zone, then we'll indicate that on the chart. So that's more of the traditional view, but I felt it was worth including because it's kind of another key part of V3. It just makes it much easier to see what's going on and navigate around a session. So we've covered a lot today. I probably hadn't planned for it to be quite as packed full of information as it has been, so I apologise for that. I think it's all relevant. So at this point, I just wondered if anyone had any questions. Feel free to drop them in the chat or in the Q&A, and I'll answer them. And yeah, if you don't have any questions, but you have some feedback or anything else you'd like to talk to about the dashboard, just, yeah, please let me know. So I'll just give you a little bit of time to answer that. Yeah. Good question. So we do only have a subset of. I'll switch back to the timeline view. So we do only have a certain number of colors, but you can add as many regions as you like, and they can be overlapping as well. You can add a new region like that. Yeah, we could potentially add more colors or like a custom color picker or something to that effect. Yeah, you might not want to have too many groups or region groups within your sessions anyway. But yeah, you can do that. It's powerful way to organize it. And you'll also see a sprinkling of some other interesting interesting features on this page. We've got some AI features coming. So rather than you have to manually create regions within the session yourself for analysis, you've got a way of auto detecting those using AI, and also a way of summarizing, give you a sort of performance report. But those features are coming soon. Thanks very much for the question. Does anyone else have anything? Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, we're pretty happy with them. It has to be said. I think you will have seen, depending on which points you've used GameBench, it's a problem we tried to tackle a few different times. We still have the analysis feature within the web dashboard, which kind of attempted to cover some of this. And then we added Explore, which again kind of covered a different aspect of it. And then obviously now we sort of changed everything by just sort of thinking what's going to be the most useful for our users, what's going to have the most impact in terms of finding issues, with zero configuration. That's like the key focus, and something the CEO Kartik is very keen on. Just one click and you're away, sort of thing. So all the stuff I demoed is available in v3.1. So anyone using our cloud platform, you'll already have these features. We made it. So we actually released 3.1 today, and that includes everything that you've seen, apart from the AI functionality, which is coming soon. But that's only a sneak peek, as it were. But everything else is released on cloud. And then if you're a private server customer, after this webinar, I will make 3.1 available for you too, so for you to upgrade. So yeah, thanks Damien, for that question. And I've just seen Kay mentioning about the alerting end users automatically. So once a lens is created, I go back to once a lens is created, so you can see my lenses down at the bottom here. Once a lens has been created, you have access to this issue detection alerting. As soon as the notification channel's configured in there, any new issues that we find from subsequent sessions that have been uploaded, you'll be notified to your notification channel. So that's the piece that makes it completely automatic. But you also, what I'd recommend doing to start with is just run detect issues, see what you find, and then investigate, and then see what you'd like to be, if you'd like to, enable notifications for these issues in the future. Obviously, that's the most useful, but just running issue detection could be quite illuminating. And you might find that your app doesn't have any issues for the time being, which is obviously great. You can still create lenses and be notified if there are any issues further down the line automatically. So yeah, I think those are all of the questions. Thanks very much for asking those. Yeah, very much appreciated. So yeah, that concludes the webinar. This was I haven't given a webinar like this before, so if you do have any feedback about it, feel free to email me, and also get in touch about anything that's been discussed. The team will be more than happy to help. And yeah, thanks so much for your attention. And yeah, if you are not a subscriber, then check out trial.gamebench.net, and you'll get a trial and you can see a bit more for yourself. But yeah, thanks very much for everyone for attending, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you.